Way to go, Tic Tac!
That's how you punch.
Wakanda forever!
Nah, you wouldn't have heard of me.
Let me put you on hold.
Dance off, bro! He's a friend from work!
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
What up, guys? It's Dom, and welcome back to another movie review. Today we are going over and ranking Superman. Superman, released in 2025, written and directed by James Gunn, Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent. As the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, he soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned. Now, I was very, very, very excited to see Superman, even from the first trailer. I just knew that this movie is really needed to be fantastic in order for them to really reboot the DC universe in the way they wanted to do. And I'm a big fan of DC. I love all the characters, and yes, the movies in the past have been lackluster, so I am glad that they were doing this reboot. And once I found out Superman will be the first movie, I knew that if they did it wrong, it would probably doom the entire universe, but if they did it right, it's gonna be looking good. And I can promise it's gonna be looking good, because this movie was amazing. They did an amazing job, and let's go over why with the 10 essential aspects of a movie. The first essential aspect is plot. Now, they were very, very smart with this. They knew we already know who Superman is. We don't need to see the entire origin story again for the third, fourth, fifth time, because it's unnecessary. We know the story, so why not get into the details we actually want to know, which is what he's up to in current day. So yes, it makes references to how he got here and what happened, but it does it in a way where we still learn about this specific Superman's origin story without going into the boring details for 90% of the movie. So right off the rip, he is just in battle. It's a great plot point to start off on of, okay, we already know who Superman is, so here he is. And we get to see him in the suit, no origin story necessary, which I thought was a great choice. And especially with the different battles that he got into in this movie, they did a good job of showing what is possibly different about this Superman compared to others, and showing how this will be the new Superman for the upcoming movies. So for the plot, which was probably the part that was going to be the hardest for them to do with this new Superman, I think they did a really good job with the villain choice, with what scenarios he gets into, with what heroes are also there in that universe to help him out. And even with his life as Clark Kent, we get to see a lot about what it's like for Clark Kent to secretly be Superman and what the people closest to him really think about it. So I think plot-wise, they did a really, really good job. The second essential aspect is attraction. I mean, if you like superheroes, you're gonna like this movie. It's as simple as that. Not only do we get to see Superman, which is almost the staple of superheroes, and he is probably the most well-known, probably alongside Spider-Man, of superheroes that exist. So it's most likely going to be beloved by a lot of people, especially since it bridges the gap well between child-friendly and realistic for adults, because yes, they don't swear, but it's the way that they speak is realistic. It is how people would speak in real life compared to very kid-friendly superheroes like Superman, for example, who does like to stay towards that route. It sometimes might sound fake and not realistic just because they need to make sure that kids can watch it too. And they definitely bridged that gap very, very well. They were jumping over that line, and I think they did well on both fronts. So I think this attraction level is good for regardless of any age and any experience with superheroes regardless. The third essential aspect is theme. The theme of this movie is the theme of every Superman movie. Stand up for what is right at all costs. No matter what, Superman, his job is to protect people. Doesn't matter what his parents may or may not have said. Doesn't matter what the public may or may not say. He stands for truth and for hope. And that is the message throughout this whole movie, that no matter what, he will do the good thing. Even if people around him aren't, he will still stick to his path and do the correct thing. Whether that's actually good or actually bad, what he sees is correct, he will be going for. And I feel like everyone really does tend to do that. Even if what they think is the right way might be incorrect, they will stick with their way. So that's the main theme that this movie was going on, and it's a good theme to go for with Superman himself. The fourth essential aspect is dialogue. They did well with dialogue as well. I think every conversation had between characters not only is good because it sounds real, but also you can tell the slight differences between each of their characters' dialogue preferences with another. So when Lois is talking to Clark, It's a completely different conversation than when Clark is talking to Mr. Terrific, or especially with Guy Gardner, when he talks to anyone, the conversation is always funnier just because he is included. So they did a really good job of differentiating which character is talking to which and making sure that even the conversations know which is which. The fifth essential aspect is acting. So I'm happy to say there is zero bad acting in this movie. There is not even one character that I can really pick apart and say, hey, that acting wasn't too good. No, everyone did great. But there were a few that definitely stole the show. One is David Corenswet, who played Superman. I mean, he will be the Superman to continue this universe, and for very good reasons. He did an amazing job. He was able to bring the same level of superness that Superman has, with still keeping that humanity that he also should have. He was able to act human while still obviously being able to do all these incredible things. And the way that he had his conversations, the way he acted throughout this movie, honestly screamed Superman to me. I think he portrayed him really, really well, and I can't wait to see what he will do with him in the future. Another is Nicholas Hoult, who played Lex Luthor. I think his acting was the best out of every single person that even walked on this screen, because this was one of the better villain performances that I have seen in movies, regardless of genre. I just think the way that he really portrayed his hate for Superman felt real. It almost felt like Nicholas himself hated Superman to this level, just because of that acting ability that he showed. And he definitely did prove that, or at least he showed that Lex Luthor is smart, and he has this villainy to him, not only for the hatred of Superman, but also for the capability that he has. I mean, this man, never mind, I was about to spoil it. I need to zip my mouth. I'm just very excited because I had an amazing time at this movie. But regardless, his acting ability excelled anyone's here, and that says a lot since there was no bad acting in this movie. And I also want to mention one of my favorite actors, Nathan Fillion. He played Guy Gardner, and I am so happy he was chosen. I don't think there could have been a better person to choose for Guy Gardner. And Nathan Fillion's style of acting resonates so well with Guy Gardner's actual, personality. The personality between Nathan Fillion and Guy Gardner is so similar that it was an obvious choice, and I'm so glad they chose him, because no matter what he said, like, so many movies try to say, like, so many characters in different movies try to say funny things, and sometimes it can just come across as kind of corny, kind of cringy. Not a single thing that Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion, said in this movie wasn't funny. It was all funny to me. I audibly laughed out loud, which doesn't happen in a lot of different movies, especially ones that aren't specifically meant to be comedies. But I was laughing at all the things that he was saying just because he was so good. And sure, the writing is what gets him that way, gets him to be that funny. But Nathan Fillion just knows how to make a joke even funnier just by him saying it. I don't know why. He just does a really, really good job, and his personality definitely shows with this movie. So those three stole the show for me, especially Nicholas Hoult. But I think every single person that was involved in this movie did a really, really good job. The sixth essential aspect is cinematography. I think they did good on both fronts. I mean, when it comes to the visuals, it looked good. There was no bad CGI in it. I honestly think everything looked realistic to a point. So that's props, because that is hard to do. Sometimes some CGI is very noticeably bad, but you kind of have to watch past it. But not in this movie. I think everything was done well, and there were some incredible scenes in this movie. And when it comes to emotional side, you do already feel something from these characters from the start. I mean, especially with Krypto's involvement, I already knew that there was going to be an emotional side to this movie, especially since I saw that, I think after watching this movie, like on the first or like second day or something like that, adoption rates for dogs went up like 300%, which I thought was incredible. And I know why now after watching this movie. Krypto played a very heavy part, and I am very glad for it, because it did add this extra emotional connection, especially for those people that love dogs. It made this movie even more special. So emotionally wise, they were locked in with the actor choices, the characters, and the feelings that you have for those specific characters, but especially for Krypto. I mean, he is such a lovable dog, and it made the movie 10 times better. The seventh essential aspect is editing. So this movie is 2 hours and 9 minutes long. And honestly, I did not even realize it was this long. I thought it was much shorter. They did a good job with managing their time. They made the story fly, and it felt quick, it felt good. They got all the points across that they needed, and they had 2 hours and 9 minutes. Honestly, this could have been a 2.5 hour movie, and I would not have noticed. It flew by because they made the plot so enjoyable, the characters so good, they had great actor choices. So honestly, I'm surprised when I noticed that it was 2 hours and 9 minutes, because they did a really good job. The eighth essential aspect is soundtrack. If you've heard anything about this movie, you're gonna hear that the soundtrack is good. I mean, they took the Superman theme, they used it to perfection. It was so nostalgic, and all the songs throughout the entire movie, no matter what the scene was, it fit. The soundtrack was honestly surprisingly good. I thought that they would get the theme right. Maybe the rest might be a little bit less, but no, of course, James Gunn's too good for that. He had to make the soundtrack really, really good as well. So that is definitely something I needed to mention, because the soundtrack, they did excellent. The ninth essential aspect is directing. So I feel like it's the director's job to take these previous 8 essential aspects, put them together to make a movie that's worth watching. And the director of this movie is James Gunn, and he's previously directed 6 movies. And they were Slither, Super, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, The Suicide Squad, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm obviously not surprised. James Gunn just can't miss. He only makes good movies. I think I haven't seen Slither or Super, but I'm assuming that they're at least decent, pretty good movies, especially since those are his first 2 movies that he's done. But once he moved on to superheroes, he just can't miss. No matter if it's a DC or Marvel, he just does well. He just knows how to make these actual movies resemble the character well, while still adding some enjoyment for the audience, and he still has not missed, even with Superman. Superman is debatably one of his better movies that he has done, and that's going up against all 3 Guardians of the Galaxies and the Suicide Squad, which everyone also enjoyed. So yes, James Gunn is the perfect choice to continue this DC universe. I think he's gonna do amazing things. And the 10th essential aspect is time. Absolutely, this movie will stand the test of time. I mean, this will be known as one of the, if not the best Superman movie that exists. And as Superman goes, I mean, that's good. That is the most famous superhero, and you now have the best movie of him. It's definitely going to be standing the test of time for a very long time. So yes, it does stand the test of time. Now, onto the ratings. So, Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it an 84%, Rotten Tomatoes audience gave it a 92%, and IMDb gave it a 76%. I have no idea why IMDb is giving it a 76%. It does not need to be that low. I personally would put it at 90, so I think Rotten Tomatoes audience is honestly the closest with that 92. Now, everything above 90 needs to be extremely, extremely, extremely good and have very, very minimal, if at all, problems with it. This movie does slide into that. So I do agree mostly with Rotten Tomatoes audience for having it at least above 90, but for me personally, I'd put it at a 90 flat, just because it could have, honestly, I don't know why I'm putting it at 90 flat. They could have done better. I just don't like putting things too high because I don't want to overrate the movie. But yeah, honestly, low to mid 90s is where I would put it. And finally, the rankings. So in 2025, I'm gonna have it first, above Thunderbolts. I think that this is the best movie I've seen so far this year. Thunderbolts was also really, really good, and one of the better Marvel movies that has come out in recent times. I think the theme that they had, the acting level they had, and overall the plot they had was really well done, and it got me excited for Marvel movies future to come. But I think Superman was just better put together. The acting level was honestly way better because they had no bad acting. While there is some scenes I can remember from Thunderbolts where it was off-putting, but none in this movie. And overall, the story they brought, starting up this new universe, including all these different characters, the acting level they had, everything, I just think it is the better movie. In the 2020s, it's going to be second, above The Wild Robot and below Air. Now, The Wild Robot, this was harder because The Wild Robot has such incredible cinematography. I would still possibly put the cinematography over Superman, but I do think everything else, when it comes to the acting level, the plot, the actual characters' involvement, even the emotional side can somewhat compete with The Wild Robot. I think it has more aspects that it does better than The Wild Robot, so I had to put it above it. But Air, I think the story, especially since it's a true story done so well, I think the story that Air has, and even the acting of the characters, and overall the involvement of the audience and getting you sucked into it, I think it just does that better than Superman. I think Superman, if you don't like superheroes and you hate them, you're not going to enjoy it as much. I don't see anyone really not enjoying Air as long as you don't like a good story. Because it's a really good story, especially if you love basketball, you'll love it even more. That might be some of my basketball bias coming in. But the thing is, I have both basketball and superhero bias, and I'm still going to put Air above Superman. So I think, yes, it is close, but I do think Air is the better movie. And in all time, it's going to be 6th, again above The Wild Robot and again below Air for the exact same reason, so I'm not going to explain it again, but now you see how close these movies really are, because no matter if it's the 2020s or all time, they will be stuck neck and neck. That's all I have for Superman. If you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to comment what movie or TV show you want me to review next. If you want to see someone that does something very similar, he just sticks to movies, he doesn't do TV shows like I do, check out my best friend, Mr. Majoritarian. He does the same exact thing, except he has 2 all-time ongoing lists going on, one for entertainment and one for cinematography. So if that's something that you might enjoy, definitely go check him out. His link will always be in my description. And I hope you guys have an amazing night. Peace out.